I've been telling you this guy is not what it seems. He's no hero, and it's official today that the inmate has been charged with killing Ian Huntley. And I said I'm going to get into his story, and this is going to be very disturbing. This absolute waste of space went on a rampage, killing multiple people, even a pregnant woman, before he was finally found sleeping in his car. He would have targeted more people if he wasn't caught.
You do not have to say anything but my army defence. You do not meant to question something which you later on court ask. You do say maybe given evidence.
This was an appalling series of violent attacks. Don't lose sight of, at the heart of this, there are 3 people who lost their lives.
So we have to take this case back to 2020. Julie Williams, 58, phoned West Midlands Police on the 23rd of October 2020 to report that her son, David Williams, had not been seen since the 21st of October. 2 days later, West Midlands Police were called by the sister to report now the mum was also missing. Police officers forced their way into her house and found her dead on the living room floor.
So the chain of events we know now, it was the murder of David Williams. David was an associate, a friend of Russell. We don't know exactly why he killed him, but we think there was some kind of disagreement. David's mum, Julie, was obviously concerned for David. She hadn't seen him. She went to Russell and asked him if she'd seen David, knowing that he was dead. He was actually dead in his flat. He said he hadn't seen him and actually helped Julie look for him. You know, again, another callous way. But then we know that he then killed Julie in an attempt to cover her tracks, and again a violent attack, leaving her dead in her house.
After the discovery of Miss Williams' body, Russell fled to Coventry with money and a mobile phone he'd robbed from a 78-year-old man the day before. Later on that day, officers raided Russell's home in Riley Square, Coventry, after a tip-off that he confessed to killing Miss Williams and her son, Mr. Williams. When arriving home, the officers found David's body hidden under a bed, and he suffered multiple injuries.
From there, we know that he knew there was a murder inquiry and fled from Coventry, went over to Leamington, and there, tragically, he befriended another person, a vulnerable female. She was pregnant, Nicole McGregor. He befriended her and killed her, left her body in a parkland. But again, another callous way, he spoke to her boyfriend who was looking for her and helped him look for her. So again, another callous way of covering his tracks, but used extreme violence.
So yeah, as you just heard, this absolutely disgusting, despicable waste of a human murdered and raped his final victim. She was 18 weeks pregnant and 31 years old, Nicola McGregor, by luring her somewhere on the promise of drugs.
Russell was extremely dangerous, and obviously we need to arrest him as quickly as possible. This was a significant manhunt, indeed one of the biggest manhunts that West Midlands Police has run, and we work with colleagues from other forces around here, including Warwickshire and Staffordshire, who subsequently arrested him in their car. CCTV, both recovery of the CCTV and the painstaking watching of that CCTV was crucial to this case. Over 9,000 hours of CCTV was gathered. It took us over 6 months to piece that together, just to show exactly what Russell had been doing over those 7 days of violence.
Just before he was arrested, there was another situation on the 28th of October 2020 where Russell was seen in Leamington Spa on foot, where at 2 p.m. he again preyed on a vulnerable victim, a 78-year-old man. Asking for directions, Russell followed him into his home, attacked him before making off in his car, a Ford C-Max. Thankfully, he survived. But it was the next day that Miss McGregor's body was found in the area of dense undergrowth. The 31-year-old's body was covered in scratches and bruises, having been dragged through the woodland.
And that CCTV evidence, along with forensic evidence, witness evidence, that weight of evidence has led to these guilty pleas from Russell. Russell, an extremely dangerous man, who used extreme violence in all of the offences, showed no remorse. Indeed, when he was questioned by the police, he wouldn't be interviewed. He sat with a blanket over his head and wouldn't engage with the officers interviewing him.
Anthony Russell had previously pleaded guilty to murdering Julia Williams and her son David in separate attacks in Coventry in 2020, but he also admitted murdering the pregnant Nicole McGregor but denied raping her, but was later actually found guilty of it. He's an absolutely disgusting, vile human. So when we got to the end of this case and in the courtroom, what come out was even more graphic. So Russell killed his own friend David Williams at his flat. The motive was Russell's mistaken belief due to jealousy and paranoia that David was in a relationship with Russell's girlfriend or involved with her in some sort of way. He strangled David. After the killing, he hid his body under his bed, where the police later discovered it 5 days later, and his body had 87 separate injuries. It was a violent assault beyond the strangulation. This was a revenge killing stemming from a personal grudge and delusion about what he thought. Why did he kill the mother as well? Well, she actually reported her son missing to the police on October 23rd after not hearing from him. And like I said, she grew concerned about his disappearance as he lived in the same block of flats in Riley Square, Coventry, and was known to the family. Prosecutors stated that Russell confessed to killing David during the conversation to prevent her from going to the police or reporting him. Russell then went to her flat separately and murdered her in a brutal attack. He strangled her with extreme violence, resulting in 113 separate injuries, including beating, trauma, and her body was found on the living room floor where police entered the home after she was missing too and reported by the sister. The killing was to silence her and cover his track. The most callous thing about this is a picture of him and his friend that he killed on CCTV, and he killed his mother as well, but he casually would just be walking through the street befriending the person that he's about to kill. This guy was a coward in the way he attacked her. His problem was obviously extreme paranoia, and that's why he decided to kill the mother, thinking that she would find out and she would tell the authorities. He was going to get found out regardless. So while he was on the run in Coventry, he was around 20 to 30 miles away. Arriving at a new town at 2:45, he targeted Nicola, a vulnerable woman he befriended or lured, and he was promised her drugs, and she was a known heroin user. She even showed him a picture of a baby scan, indicating trust, and he took her into a woodland, a park. He then ordered her, she was 18 to 20 weeks pregnant by the way at the time. Prosecutors argued the murder was to prevent her reporting the rape. He strangled her and her body showed additional blunt force trauma to the head, the face, and a brain bleed. Disgustingest case ever, wood twigs in her mouth from being left in dense undergrowth, and her body was discovered 3 days later, October 29th in the woodland. All three murders involved strangulation as the primary cause of death, combined with severe beatings, high injury counts showing prolonged violence. Russell described in court as exceptionally dangerous, manipulative, and callous, and showing a complete absence of empathy, conscience, or restraint. The spree triggered one of the largest recent manhunts, involving 9,000 hours of CCTV review, which helped link him to the crimes and track his movement. So he's serving a whole life order and has nothing to lose. The incident took place in a prison workshop. Reports of around 9 a.m. in the morning. Huntley was attacked from behind by fellow inmate Anthony Russell, 43, a triple murderer and rapist that we just spoke about. The weapon was a makeshift improvised, possibly obtained from the workshop recycling area, described as a metal bar, iron bar, and a spiked metal pole in different reports. Huntley was struck multiple times with 3 heavy blows to the head, such force that part of the weapon reportedly became lodged in his skull and caused it to be split open. He was found lying unconscious in a pool of blood by prison staff and officers that come in. Witness prison sources claim the attacker Russell shouted and celebrated, I've done it," whilst being restrained by officers. Some accounts mention other prisoners cheering on the attack amid the fight or ambush, possibly after Huntley attempted to bully or provoke Russell. Prison staff initially thought Huntley was dead due to the severity of this situation. Emergency services attended and he was still alive, but he had suffered from head trauma and significant brain injuries and was rushed to Newcastle Royal Infirmary. He underwent emergency treatment and surgery, even for a broken jaw, but was placed in an induced coma and put on life support. His condition was described in hospital as serious with a low chance of survival. He became blind and in a vegetable state before his life support was withdrawn on March 6th. And Huntley died March 7, 2026 from his injuries. Police launched an investigation, immediately detaining the suspect. Obviously he's in prison, and he was formally charged with murder a couple of days later. He appeared via video link at Magistrates Court on March 11th. No plea has been entered. There will be pre-trial at Newcastle Crown Court. And this guy, Anthony Russell, is no hero, but he's most likely getting all the attention that he wants right now.
Here's the car. Strike. Oh, please! Get your got his hands! Get him! Yeah. Anthony Russell, you're under arrest for the murder of 3 people. You do not have to say anything but my army defence. You do not mention one question, something which you later rely on court ask. You do say maybe given evidence.
And if it wasn't Ian Huntley, it was going to be someone else. But we just see his final letter where he said he was scared in prison, and there was already multiple attacks on his life. His final letter, a couple of weeks before he passed away, was leaked to the press, and it says in this letter, "Sorry for not writing you sooner. I've had a lot to deal with lately. I hate writing letters at the best of times. Thank you for your birthday card, I appreciate it, and received your details. I've submitted them due to a number of leaks that's been going to the press over the last 12 months. I've had to do some thinking for your safety. I've discarded everything you sent and not proceeded with having you cleared and called for visits. You're a lovely person. I don't want you placed in harm's way due to your affiliation with me. So obviously he said in this he was scared. He'd been through a lot lately in the prison. Now, obviously, they were on the same wing because they'd done similar sort of things. That guy killed a pregnant woman. This guy killed 2 young, innocent girls, which was disgusting. But the situation of Ian Huntley dying was just an argument on that wing that escalated their tensions for a while, and he ended up getting killed over that, not because of the disgusting things that he had done. Ian Huntley deservedly had an absolutely awful time throughout his sentence. There's more details now on the last time he was attacked before this as well. If it weren't Anthony Russell, the scumbag himself, it was going to be someone else that eventually took Ian Huntley out.
Well, me and the rest of the lads were going to stamp all over him if we got a hold of him.
A narrow escape for the Soham killer. Unsurprisingly, other Franklin prisoners have got their hands on him. The men in here have made a habit of violence, and they're primed to take an opportunity.
I was just young at the time, and I was in that mindset where I just didn't give a fuck about anything. I was still having them violent thoughts, and I felt violent.
And to Ricky, someone like Huntley was the perfect target. Ricky's chance to get at Ian Huntley came when he and some mates visited the hospital wing for their appointments.
So as we got down there, we actually seen him on the other side of the door. He was waiting. He was about 20 foot away, waiting to go through on the other side to go back to his wing. But the Scrooge opened the door, and there was 4 of us just went legging it towards Huntley. We just missed him by seconds. But me and the rest of the lads were going to stamp all over him if we got a hold of him.
A narrow escape for the Soham killer. Unsurprisingly, other Franklin prisoners have got their hands on him.
And he's been attacked repeatedly with improvised weapons, razor blade in a toothbrush, boiling water.
The only thing that I'm interested is someone that is on a whole life order and is likely to never get out anyway. How do you punish him? Do you give him days in the block? What are they going to impose to make his life worse in prison right now if he's never getting out? Because they're saying he's actually going to go on trial for this if he pleads not guilty. And it could go both ways. I mean, knowing this guy, he does like the attention of things, might want to go to trial just to get out of the prison and face up to it and try and beat the case, or he will just own up to it. He's admitted already to doing a lot more worse things than killing one of the most hated men in the country.